Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journeys without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, the struggles, and the transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how winding or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth, to be moved, to be inspired, and discover that you are not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hey everyone, I am Trinity Baker. I am a mindset coach, the Trinity Baker LLC, and I'm joined here by...
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerialist LLC. I'm an Aerialist, which is essentially the bird of the circus. And with me is my co-host.
My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valued Productions. We do video marketing, and I'm super excited today because we have our awesome guest with us, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Nadeau. I'm the owner of Mainly Coaching. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Welcome.
Awesome.
Mainly Coaching because you live in Maine and you did a... It's so funny because when I was trying to come up with the domain names and all of that, I did reserve mainly with an E, but Mainly Coaching to mainly because what I do is coaching and it's life, business, and relationship coach. So it's actually MAINLY, but you can also reach me at MAINELY coaching just for people who do think that.
Awesome.
Listen, no matter what way you want to spell it, we can get a whole...
You can understand. That's right.
That's great for marketing. That's
brilliant. I absolutely
love it.
Our marketing strategist here loves your marketing skills, Karen.
I love it. Well, I've learned a lot from our guru. Well, I was thinking about trying to figure out how Ariel, like the mermaid jade, can be in my most searched things. So when I kind of get that opportunity to really dive into my website again and kind of like the search engine and all of that, I was actually thinking about that because it happens 9 out of 10 times.
Okay. So, Danielle, when I first met you, I remember being at a BNI meeting and you were like, I'm Danielle with Ariel Jade. Look me up on YouTube. And I looked you up and I literally pulled up Ariel, the mermaid. Okay. So totally get that. If you don't know how to spell Ariel, it's AERIAL. And it's
like an aerial view.
Aerial view. Aerial view. I love that. I love that. Danielle, you want to start us off with a crazy question this morning?
I don't know if it's crazy, so I just picked it, so I don't even know what it was. What is your all-time favorite character from a full-length animated film?
Oh, man.
Animated. Okay, I just watched the most recent Spider-Man, and they were just doing their thing. It was filmed like I thought I was in a virtual comic. Like the way they filmed it was just brilliant. So I'm just gonna jump and answer because everybody's like, "Oh my god, let me think."
I know.
What was that? That Spider-Verse vibe has me. I think kind of abstract. So I actually feel like these things are totally feasible. And the more we expand to see life in that way, the more we can, well, and I'm kind of am like Spider-Man. I'm like Gwen. Yeah, I'm Gwen. I'm definitely Gwen on this planet Earth experience. So I am, I'm going to say that. How about you, Trinity? I feel like you got one. You got a son.
It's hard. I'm trying to remember. There's a movie. The movie is about like our emotions, and it's like this thing, and it emotion like bubble like sadness and happy, and they like pre-fill the emotion.
Funny. You said that. That was literally the first thought that crossed my mind too, but then I couldn't remember the name.
What's the name of the Okay, I'm gonna say here about. I'm gonna Google what it is so we know.
But they each and the characters have their own emotion, like it's angry, sad, whatever. And I think there's a new Disney one that's coming out that's called Wished that's something similar around it too. So I can't wait to see that one.
I love
my kids have brought that up.
it like pre-fills the emotion. So it shows you like you can change your emotion. Like they take out the madness bubble and they put in the happy little marble bubble thing. I'm going to look it up. Hold on.
You guys would love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mindset. I feel like you guys are like really close to like self-hypnosis experts. And I think that that's how I view you guys. The more I spend time with life coaches, or I've literally watched Trinity transform into it. And what a like honorable, cool thing. But that's kind of how I see you guys. Like I'm like, like teaching people how to hypnotize their mind. Because a lot of times it's like literally reprogramming. Like, no, stop thinking that. XYZ this way. No. And I just wanted to say that. It kind of feels like that's where you guys are. It's funny you just said that movie and it was just like,
Yeah, it was literally the first one that had come to my mind when you said that. I was like, oh, I don't remember the name of it. I can't use that one. It's Pocahontas was the one that I was like, well, Pocahontas. I love her strength and Thanksgiving time. So that was the second one that came up to mind.
Yeah.
Honest, I haven't
so cool.
forever. It's called Inside Out.
Yes, that makes sense. Oh, that's such a life coach thing of you guys to do. And the Aerialist picked Spider-Man. What about you? Well, Spider-Verse, let me be clear.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse series just has me smitten. What about you, Graham?
Yeah, so I'm sure there's other ones that come to mind, but I went with my first like initial spark, like what came to my head from that, and for me, it's gonna have to be Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, wow. That's an old classic. I love it. Oh, my gosh. I don't think I would have thought of that. And they just redid that one not that long ago.
Yeah. I haven't either. I'm classic Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. This first one came to mind. I can identify with him a lot.
Yeah, I could totally see that. So here's a question on that topic of movies and especially animated ones, Danielle. I love that question. Is as busy entrepreneurs, where do you even find the time to watch an animated movie?
Because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Thing like
I don't know. Yeah, no, it's because I'm a mom, but I think my kids have Ninja Turtle figurines because I need them in the house. That's great.
Yeah, I thought that oftentimes that's how I think my daughter and I like our quiet time. So I feel like that's our quiet time at evening where we'll spend usually, this time of year, it tends to be the holiday movies or whatever. So yeah, usually we'll watch a movie before bed and that will be our downtime, especially with being on the go so much. Like we all need that for our mental health of just sometimes unchecking from all of it and just spending that alone time.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I've talked with I have some mentors and some coaches and they're always like talking about how like place your Netflix with your educations and your podcasts and your master classes and all that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta have at least like an hour a day. I don't care if it's a Netflix or a movie, but like I need to like mindless something to watch. You know what I mean? Because so often I'm like filling my mind with just like education and growth and all this stuff. But like putting on a Netflix or like something that I'm into, a movie, whatever, I don't have to think. I don't have to,
It's hard to be on all the time. Like when you're an entrepreneur and it's go, 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 go. Literally from the moment you open your eyes, you're like, okay, what's on my schedule today? And what do I have to do? I mean, it's literally nonstop throughout the day. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Graham. Having that time where you just don't have to think for a period of time is critical because that's how we kind of have our opportunity to recharge our batteries, right? Like
most definitely. And I still have like my times of like meditation and prayer and yoga and stuff, but like that's a different type of like mindless, mindful kind of vibe. But like watching a movie or a show or something, that's just like pure like just enjoyment, relax, not do anything. I'm not thinking about whatever. You know what I mean?
I love that. I just had a coaching at 9:30 right before this call, and we were talking about the mindless activities. And he had like a huge a huge reflection on our time working together was, he said, my mindless activities used to be scrolling. It used to be that like almost like negative impact, mindless stuff. He's like, I watch a movie with my wife, or I read, a book that's not personal development book.
Yeah.
It's so important to have that mindless. You got to shut off, because listen, Karen, you hit it on the head. Like the minute we wake up, we're thinking, as entrepreneurs, we are thinking about our day, what we get to do. There are some days that I literally dream about that stuff.
I was just about to say that. Like sometimes even when sleeping, it's going through my head.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Something that movies and books, I'm glad you said that are not self-help or in your wheel. Like I'm not going to go read like a fitness book or, what it's also applying is a lot of times it's our artistic expression, or it's our ability to think outside. It's our, so a lot of times I don't even, so my thing is not finding time to watch movies. What movies do I actually watch? Because let me be clear, like I'm like somewhere else. I can work on another realm, on another planet, get shit done, and then make it happen here. That's like literally how my mind works. And so a lot of times, like I get so inspired by movies in my own perception of what I'm experiencing that a lot of times I lose myself with the movie. So it's not so much finding time. I'm great at being.
That's great. That's good. That's a good habit. Talking about books, Trinity, I did just finish that book.
The Surrender
and Graham, Surrender Experiment. And Graham just mentioned meditation. So I have not, like, I try to embrace meditation. I struggle so much, and that book kind of helps put that perception back into my mind as far as like turning off that inner voice, and that it's next to impossible to do, but how we can do it. So I'm curious to kind of hear what your thoughts are as far as if all of you meditate as well. And Graham mentioned he did, but kind of what your go-to has been.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I think we talked about this last week too, or I just mix conversations in my brain. For the longest time, my coach, for literally 4 years, like I was that horrible coaching client that wouldn't listen to my coach for 4 years in a row here. She was like, you need to meditate. You need to meditate. And I'm like, listen, you think sitting on a mat with my eyes closed, falling asleep for 20 minutes is productive? It's not productive. And because I had like this is just talks about like our limiting mindsets. I had this picture in my brain that I had to do it a certain way. And what one day was I downloaded this app. It's called the Insight Timer. And what I realized was like, they're like 2-minute meditations.
Definitely.
They're all different. They're different topics. They're different experiences. Some of them are guided. Some of them are put you to sleep. Some of them are wake you up. Like I had such a limiting mindset that meditation had to be a certain way. And that's why I fought it for 4 freaking years. And then the second that I realized that it could be whatever way I wanted to make it, I meditate over an hour every single day.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
For me, meditation is a relationship with breath and the simplicity in that sentence. So what happens is we are in like, a matrix. We do this, we're programmed, we know this, we self-program, we know this. By just sitting down, and it's 30 breaths in sets of 3, these things not only, when you can surrender to that many, oh my God, sometimes I can't even get to the third 30 seconds. Let's be real. But that's when intuition sets in. That's when that real insight sets in. But it only can be when you surrender to the fact that you're just as beautiful as a breath. And that's just all that needs to be needed. And it's a lot. I don't do it every day. It's not perfect, but it is just that simple. It is just like identifying with just being alive is enough. You're not a mom. You're not an entrepreneur. You're not every bad thing that ever happened to you. And then it gives you power that you controlled your mind for 30 breaths. Listen, your little computer freaking thing happening up there. I run shit and God and this breath I got.
I love that.
So that's what meditation is, in my opinion. And soothing and coping is all the other things.
I love that.
Raw meditation is just you and that breath and the power of getting on track no matter how many times the mind goes, whoop, and it's that surrender, control, kind of like balance. That's the one time you can truly authentically feel balance. You know what I mean?
Oh.
That's just my thought.
And you know, like you had mentioned, Trinity, the misperception that it has to be a certain way. Like there's moving meditations too. And that's what I do a lot of, like through yoga, and then like continued to stay sitting a little bit towards the end. But another one that I've found cool sometimes is shower meditations. Like they have YouTube, you type in shower meditation, and it's about like you listen to it in the shower, and it's like thinking about the water washing away like all the stress and all that stuff, and like you're awake, you know what I mean? Like you actually got to do what you got to do in the shower, but like, you know, it's still a moving meditation, you know what I mean? It's not just like sitting
dynamic meditation.
Yeah,
exactly. Now I'm excited for tomorrow morning. I have to go shower.
Great. And we talk about utilizing your time well, right? Like you said, there aren't so many different types of meditation. So these have all been excellent examples.
Do your dishes meditation.
And that's so true, because it really comes down to like what you said, Danielle, about just being in that moment. Like you think of a bird isn't like, hey, I'm a bird. A bird, it just is. You know what I mean? It's got like one thing that it's like, okay, I need to eat and like get my little baby birds or whatever it is, but it just is, you know. It's not thinking like, oh, I'm, you know, got this shopping list of things to do. It's just like, this is what it is. I am a bird, you know.
I'm a bird.
And you know what? It's so funny too, Karen. It's so funny you mentioned this in the surrender experiment, because I had a client read the surrender experiment, loved it, right? I haven't recommended to anyone who doesn't love it. So if you need a book to read, go get it. But he said to me, like, he doesn't teach you how to meditate. And I'm like, totally missed, like, here. The point was like meditation, getting into control of that inner chatter. Because that inner chatter will tell us 99% of the time, will tell us stuff that is not true. It wants to limit you. It doesn't want you to grow. And so if you listen to it, you're going to be limited and you're never going to grow. That's it.
It's kind of like the counter response. The minute you have a dream, every freaking thing that could stop you from the dream, the brain automatically has to think for the dream to actually come true, right? Because like one cannot exist without the other. But that takes forever to realize and manage.
I love that. Karen, what is, as a coach yourself, what is one mindless thing that you do yourself or recommend that your clients do?
Mindless. Oh, that's a good one. Again, I think it's just, and I don't know if I would necessarily say mindless, but what comes to mind is the opportunity to just check in with yourself. So I don't know, I struggle with saying mindless, but I feel like I personally have tried to take a time out, whatever's going on in the chaos and what have you, and just really do like that internal reflection, especially on like how I'm feeling in a moment. And I try to do it deliberately when I'm feeling like life is chaotic. So I think that that's one thing that I definitely suggest to my clients, especially when they're coming into a session and you just can see like, you know, whether they're just on screech because they've been go all day and then they just plop in the scene, they're, you know, they're in a meeting. You can just see that their brain's just reeling, and it's like, okay, let's just take a deep breath and like, let's just center ourselves and just sit in this for a moment and try to just feel what we're feeling and then being able to kind of release it. So that would kind of be my mindless. But other than that, like we talked about, you know, it's watching TV or just zoning out. Definitely my new kick is Suits. I've been watching Suits. Somebody had told me about that. Told me about that. And so that's my guilty pleasure right now before bed is watching.
That show gets me pumped because it's like, I'm like, let's go. As an entrepreneur, it's like, closing deals, getting it, you know what I mean?
I haven't heard about this show, so you probably you just did a new addiction I'm
Yeah.
not.
There's eight seasons.
I don't know that. No. No. Oh, good Lord, that's dangerous.
Yeah. It's good though. It is. It does. It gets me pumped too. It's just crazy how people's brains work. And yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because they're lawyers in like big corporate like Manhattan law firms. So they're dealing with corporations and business law and all this interactions and stuff. It's a great show.
So it'll make me happy that I live in the mountains of Maine by myself.
Yes. It will give you that appreciation. Absolutely.
Most definitely.
And like I've been doing a podcast with this company in New York, and I'm like, ooh, listen, after that podcast, I am happy to be up here in the mountains. That's all I gotta say. Like that fast-paced life that I thought that I wanted to go to college in Boston. Okay. Let's just talk about how far that vision is crazy. I know. But thank God life redirected me a different way because it's not worked out very well.
I lived in Jersey City, New York for a year. And then I lived in Orlando and traveled through Tampa and Miami.
Oh.
And so there is a value Maine has that nobody can talk me out of. Not even a mass shooting can shift my mind. Because that had happened in Orlando. And I remember thinking, oh, well, I'm safe in Maine. But even after that happened, so I rethought of that thought, right? Because I thought I was safe from certain things. And apparently I'm not. But in rethinking that, I'm still like, oh,
Maine,
that's wood still. Like I'm what is identified as like a hippie, but not really. I'm just very natural, simple, minimalist by choice.
Yeah.
Because I've seen what glamour, and I call it glamour energy. It's so seducing.
Yeah.
I'm all set. I like Maine. I love that everybody in Maine is a hippie, but they just don't even like have to identify with it. It's just like we are, and we have an appreciation for Earth in a way that's so respectful. Oh, and I love how celebrities are here and none of us give a shit. That is like, I love that celebrity.
That's why they come, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, they would bother our peace. So yeah, like, nah, we're not really like trying to house that stuff.
They're from away. They're from away. You know what I mean?
You can go on vacation quietly. Like, this was so funny. So, I'm a comedian in the training, but I've always wanted to be one. I'm obsessed with comedians.
Oh,
and there was a particular one that was in Maine, and Maine's so funny because they put, oh, thank you for visiting this small business and this small business. And I was like, oh, it was Terrence Williams. Anyways, I was like, oh, they waited till he left to like say he was here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's such Maine fashion. Like,
yeah,
just hilarious. I was like, I don't know.
I love that. And I think that I have an extreme appreciation for the seasons that Maine has to offer. I think that every single season has something to offer us. And we just need to like embrace it and stop being mad about it. We just need to embrace everything that Maine has to offer us. Like the sun is shining on you. And when it's not, look how beautiful the clouds are. Freaking epic. When it's cloudy, just the way the clouds look, like call me artistic, Danielle, and I'm not, and you know that. But the way the clouds would look when it's cloudy and rainy, like there's so much that we have to appreciate about living in Maine that we, even the ones here that appreciate living in Maine, we still overlook.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying. We've had this conversation. I am trying to embrace winter. It's a struggle. Like, I'm still a work in progress. Like I'm trying. Like it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Winter in Maine is beautiful, and I will look outside at the snowflakes and I will appreciate the beauty. But when I have to step outside in the cold, like we don't agree. Like,
I was gonna say, careful what you ask for, Karen, because I had a friend who was like, I want to embrace it more too. So she came up for a hike and she hasn't been back since. I don't know why. I have no idea why she hasn't been back. It was like the 3.5 mile, like 2,200 elevation climb was too much for her. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. No, but I do. I think it's like what you said, like go for a hike, take up snowshoeing, cross country skiing, downhill skiing, whatever. And I used to as a child and I didn't mind winter, but then as adulthood, it's like you tend to hibernate, and I'm such a people person and like to be outdoors. But when it's cold and you have to start your vehicle, I think it just it removes a lot of that motivation. So I think that's why I struggle with it so much. But I'm trying to make a point this year because my daughter's 12 that I want her to, we live in Maine. So I'm going to try to make a little bit more of a effort to get out and about and do some of the winter things so we can appreciate it.
I guess like embracing the season, like she said, for me, winter is about being inside. I do like being isolated for a period of time. I did live in Florida, total contrast for most of my 20s. And hibernating when it's too hot is not the same thing.
There is something to be said about being cozy inside with a fireplace and a book.
Not the same thing. And Florida summer, it's kind of like winter. You hibernate. You go from your house to your car because everybody chilling and that stuff, and not the same thing. So it's like, where do you want to where do you value hibernating, and at what time of the year? This kind of how I feel. Good point. And I all about that, like just being inside.
Yeah, all places have that like time of year that is just like extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want the extreme heat, extreme cold, hurricanes, tornadoes. Like it's all there's all something for somewhere, and it's just determining what you value. But I agree with the seasons. I very much enjoy each season.
Yeah, you do. I feel like you do a lot outside, Graham.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I think, again, that's like that that artistic part of you. Like, I feel like you can, I don't know, I feel like artistic people can just see the beauty deeper than your regular person.
I give the best compliments. The best. That is my superpower. I can find the most unique, beautiful thing in an individual and quite quickly. And my eye just sees it. And then I've trained myself to only see that.
Listen, that's the mindset hack. That is like a mindset shift right there. I love that. Karen.
Mindset hack.
Mindset hack. Yeah.
Do you have any mindset hack, Karen? Any mindset hacks, Karen?
Oh, I'm gonna say I think we've covered a lot of it already in our conversations. I think it's just reset. Like I go back to that recentering. Like what is important to you? What is it? Your values? What is your why? Like that's kind of when things get difficult, my mindset shift goes back to looking deep within myself and understanding my why. And honestly, that Surrender Experiment book provided some additional insight more recently to that, because I think that as a single mom, as an entrepreneur, as all of these things, I like to have control because control makes what I think my life easier to move forward. So my more recent mind shift set is to embrace the universe a little bit more and be more open to what presents itself and then turning off that mind. So I think that's been a more recent thing for me as far as that mindset hack is embracing the universe. Is how can we look at things differently, not with our preconceived notions that we grew up with, that we were trained, that kind of said, this is right, this is wrong, but really kind of saying and living in the moment and learning to accept that whatever's been brought to our attention is for a reason, and moving forward. So yeah, that would probably be
definitely. I agree with all that. Acceptance.
Have you guys ever heard of the mirror exercise? It's like a mindset. It's similar to that, Karen, like you were talking about, like just like looking at kind of like why things are happening the way they are and like embracing that. But it's looking at the people around you and embracing the people around you. So if you look at the people around you as a mirror, so someone that you're like, you don't respect, or someone that's doing something that you don't respect or don't like, using that as a mirror to say, okay, well, that universe is showing me that that's not who I want to be, or that's not the type of person I want in my energy, and vice versa. Like someone that I admire, right? Like I admire Graham's video skills, like freaking epic. And so that's why I submerge myself in all of Graham's trainings and all of his videos. And like, I watch them with the purpose of how can I learn and use that as a mirror. So that's like, that goes along with it.
And
No, I love that's great.
so yeah, and that just makes me think of something that I've always heard similarly to that. It's like when you're pointing at someone, remember that you have 3 fingers pointing right back at you. You know, so.
Oh, good. I haven't heard that one.
That's a good one.
I'd like to give a fitness tip.
Do it.
I don't let my kids say the H word. I make them say blueberry. I think it's negative speech, and it's not something I want in my life. So I actually don't say that. So I'm going to give you guys a tip. And the tip is, if you sing Old MacDonald, 3 animals in standard pace while you're doing a plank, I promise me you will thank me in a month. It's a full minute. So in circus school, I would sing, no wonder I'm a great mom or take it seriously, because I would sing Old MacDonald while I stretched. Do you know how fucking hard it is to stretch in a split regularly? It's like giving birth over and over and over and over again by choice in your adulthood, because I was just like a little bit different of a story, you know? And yeah, that was my tool. That's how I got through a minute.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, that's how I get through. So planks is like the go-to. You can do it on your knees or you can do it full. So you can, it's the go-to exercise for just a day, a minute, and you do 3 animals. And you'll thank me if you do. And only
I'll try that.
I do
I
it.
love it.
And it kind of makes it funner too. Like I'm looking over here at my exercises I do every morning, plank 60 seconds. Well, I'm telling you right now, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more if I sang Old MacDonald versus 1, 2.
And it takes your mind.
I was just gonna say it shifts your mind.
Your mind. It takes, that's the most important part, right? I have to tolerate pain regularly, so I'm like teaching you this tip quickly, so that it helps the mind, like we've all been discussing. But another thing too is when you count, you're breathing in a pattern correctly. So a lot of times when we work out, we don't breathe. We're like, oh shit. So singing Old MacDonald, whether out loud or in your head, is forcing you to breathe in the proper manner. If you're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, then you're not even breathing. But by going, Old MacDonald out of all the stuff, you're going to breathe through it because the song is making you. So it's like such a great tool for many reasons.
Well, that's a great tip. Thanks for sharing. I love that.
Yeah, something about how we were talking about like rewiring the mind. I'm like, yeah, some tips for that.
I like that.
I love that. Karen, do you have a funky, practical, non-practical, personal business question that you would like to ask us?
Oh, practical, non-practical question. The one thing that I was actually curious about was just honestly how the Unfiltered podcast came about. Like, how did that actually stem from, and how did you guys all decide to collaborate together? And so that's what I would like to hear a little bit more about.
Great question.
Well, it first started with a relationship, and I'll let one of them dive into that. But I wanted us to have a stage immediately. Like, I see our light. I know what we are. I don't question it. I don't even question my own light anymore. And it's kind of because I had that mirror with them too, and I can trust it, and we built that. But it was really, hey, we deserve a stage. How do we make this happen now? No excuses. And literally within that simple question was a podcast, because it just was what we could do. And for me, it's really outside my box. I'm an athlete, so it's really putting me in a strong position, slowly but surely, in a way that I need to be well balanced as an individual. So it's offering me that.
Oh, I love that.
We would get on Zoom and just talk.
Yeah.
We would literally just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I think there was one day we were on for like an hour and a half, and we were like, okay, we really need to like structure this and find a purpose for this. Not that our conversations between the 3 of us wasn't purposeful. I literally think a lot of my motivation to become my own business owner and create my business was from these 2. Like, they gave me and continue to give me motivation and inspiration and insight and clarity on who I'm truly meant to be, when I don't believe that. Like, even as a coach, Karen, like you can totally agree with this. Like, everyone has to have other people that you can call. I mean, Danielle and I, Graham and I, like, I questioned, structure of my business, and I'm texting Graham and I'm like, do I change the whole thing? And he's like, hell no. Like, let's talk on Monday about it. And that's exactly what we did. Like, he's talked me off the edge. I've talked Danielle off the edge. Like, that's what we do. So why not put it into a platform where we can inspire others that, hey, talking each other off the edge has to happen to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
True. And so the entrepreneur world, it's like that like-minded thing, but even more concentrated. Like Trinity had come to me and said, can you be president early so I can make all these decisions and be this new role? I'm so sorry. And she thought it was like an inconvenience. I'm like, back up. First off, I'm your friend. So go get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I got your back. Like, I couldn't even fathom that she was even stressed. Like, no, I'm your friend and I want you to be successful. And if that's leaving or chapter or putting me in a role early or whatever, freaking cares.
Exactly. We were all originally in a B&I group together and like powerhouses in our B&I group. And then Trinity she evolved out of the group and ended up going into a different chapter. And so in that meeting of like leaving, we were having the conversation and it was like, okay, we need to be meeting regularly to still have the powerhouse of our original B&I chapter regularly. And then on one of those regular meetings, it's like, well, why are we just meeting regularly on Zoom and not getting any we were getting benefit from it, but like, how can we get more benefit from it? You know what I mean?
The next level, right? And what like you said, all of you have so much great value to offer each other to be able to share that knowledge with a bunch of listeners. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's fantastic that you guys.
And we get to have amazing people like our guests who And Karen, we are strategic on like who we're going to bring in here because we want that unfiltered, like, I'm confident that you're going to give us tips, tricks, feedback, answers that are going to empower in a way that's not like this picture perfect. Like, we are surrounded by this world who thinks they need to be picture perfect. And we need more people to show like picture perfect is not how it works. It's just not how
true. Shit is hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard. It's not perfect. We do have to navigate all of this. And that's why I'm so glad that you have created this, especially knowing that that's where it's stemming from, is the fact that you created this powerhouse and you guys were already utilizing each other as resources to take that knowledge and bring it out to the world is awesome.
Definitely. And that's part of where the unfiltered thing came from, is that like in each of our like business roles that came from the B&I, we all had our like frontward facing like persona, so to speak, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, how can we peel back that onion and reveal some more of like what's not just the frontward facing business aspect or, athletic or, mindset aspect of what we're doing, and how that relates with the people that are listening. And all you out there listening, this is for you all.
Yeah, it's so true.
I'm an adult athlete that had addictions and poverty. Like, I can't talk about that in B&I or the chamber or in just a mingle, but that's so imperative that people understand. And like, and what kind of, I don't want to be ranting on a Facebook post about what I've been through, but it's imperative to inspire. It's also imperative for me to be authentic in order to even like actually live, right? So for me, it's like I was so excited to start this so we can create a safe space for people to be like, I'm not just the perfect Instagram scroll, and I'm okay with owning that, right? But that's what people want on media, so we have to fulfill this ideal role, right? Yeah. But then have this place to be like, no, you can be just your mom that has a daughter that thinks she sucks right now. Right. Like the safe space to talk about that. Like,
right. And that's just it. We present ourselves in B&I, and the whole organization is about being a business professional and being a leader in your industry. But then there's that whole backstory that got us to where we're at. And that's not always shared on it. So relatable as far as having that truth and owning your truth and having a platform that you can share that. Because oftentimes people, like you said, you look into the Instagram reels, Facebook, I call them the highlight reels, right? All the highlight reels of perfection. And oftentimes we don't see the struggles that went with it. So being able to be really real about entrepreneurship and what has led us on this journey is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Important.
Karen,
Because people don't want the negative all the time, right? It's almost being respectful, right? If someone's going to listen to a podcast, this is where they want to hear the rant. And then, so it's just nice. And it's even nice being in a mature business place where I'm respecting that. Because before I'm just like, so aggressive with my approach. Very like, that's very, very, I'm just trying to do it the way I can inspire. Very intentional.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Even with pain and ugly stuff,
Love it. Well, Karen, I want to thank you for joining us on this podcast episode this morning. Would you tell our listeners where they can get in contact with you to learn more about you and your business?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. And my website's the best place to reach out to me. I do free consultation calls, and it's www.mainly, MAINLY, coaching.com.
Awesome. Well, my name is Graham, owner of Valüd Productions. You can find me on all social media at Valüd, VALUD Productions, all one word, .com, the whole nine. I'm here with my co-hosts.
Yes, I'm Trinity Baker. I am a mindset coach. So you can find me at my website, www.thetrinitybaker.com. But I'm also all over the socials. I love to post inspiring information. So find me all over your favorite social media platform at The Trinity Baker. And I am here with...
I'm Danielle. You can find me at aerialg.com. That's Aerial, like aerial view, AERIALJADE. That's the color of my eyes. I am on all platforms. I run the Unfiltered podcast on Instagram, so you can most certainly reach out to me there. And you can live chat with me on my website, which is preferred.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't yet, make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, do all of the things because you do not miss our weekly episodes. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Yeah.